Fox News Alert, everyone. Hi, I'm Gretchen Carlson. Welcome today to The Real Story. House lawmakers, they're getting back to business today. President Obama's executive action on immigration, top of the docket. The Judiciary Committee holding a hearing that's happening right now, as you can see on your screen. Earlier today, Secretary Jay Johnson defending the president's move on immigration to the Homeland Security Committee.
The reality is that, for decades, presidents have used executive authority to enhance immigration policy. President Obama views these actions as a first step toward the reform of the system and continues to count on Congress for the more comprehensive reform that only changes in law can provide.
But House Speaker John Boehner squashing that notion completely.
This is a serious breach of our Constitution. It's a serious threat to our system of government. And frankly, we have limited options and limited abilities to deal with it directly.
Karl Rove was the White House Deputy Chief of Staff under President George W. Bush, and he's also a Fox News contributor. All right, so what are the Republicans going to do, Karl, when it comes to the executive action that the president has put forth on immigration?
Well, it looks like they're going to take two actions. One is a two-track approach to funding the government. We are in another fiscal year without a budget in place, the government being funded by a series of continuing resolutions. The House, the continuing resolution we're under ends December 11th. So Congress has to do something in this lame duck session to fund the government. The Republicans are thinking about funding all of the government through the end of the fiscal year, except for the Department of Homeland Security, which would be funded through some time in January or February,
right.
So the new Congress has a chance to sit. The other track is a piece of legislation being promoted by Representative Yoho of Florida, which would declare that the president doesn't have the authority to do what he is doing and would explicitly prohibit him from doing so. I worry a little bit about that one because I don't think the president has the authority to do it. And what happens if you pass that bill through the House? It goes nowhere under the in Harry Reid's Senate.
Okay.
Democrats dominate there through January,
yeah,
and then where are you?
But how are the Republicans going to get on the same page? Because they have these varying ideas, and now you have statements coming out from the more conservative faction of the Republican Party saying things like this blatant attempt to sugarcoat their unwillingness to defund Obama's amnesty is leadership's Gruber moment. I mean, it sounds like the right-wing part of the Republican Party is not going to go along with any of these plans.
Well, you know what? First of all, so Representative Yoho represents is part of that insurgent faction that opposed to John Boehner. But look, here's the problem. The Republicans are not. They won the election, but the new Republicans have not yet taken office. So why the Republicans are trying to get it all done now when you have a Democrat Senate and a Republican House that has, I believe it's 14 or 15 fewer Republicans in it today than it will have on January 4th is a little surprising. So baby steps, partial steps, take a couple of steps probably is wiser to be done now than to try and get it all done when you have a Democrat majority in the Senate.
Okay. Do you think that the Republicans can actually get that through, though, this idea of defunding the Department of Homeland Security, but funding the rest of the government?
Well, right now, I don't think so, because you have a Democrat Senate. They'll pass it through the House. There's no doubt about that. But then it goes to the Senate, and all the Senate does is says, we're not going to go for that. We're going to ping-pong back to you a bill that funds all of the government through the balance of the year and dare you not to accept it before we go out. And again, we are better, the conservatives and Republicans are better taking firm action after January 4th when they control both the House and the Senate than they are trying to get it all done where we saw how this worked last year when Republicans said, we've got the House, we don't have the Senate, let's defund the government, let's shut down the government if need be, and we'll make them bend to our will, and it didn't work that way. It won't work their way this way.
And they became more of the party of no as far as how they were thought of, and this whole thing could blow up if they decide to do it now. We'll have to wait and see. A lot of fireworks going on Capitol Hill. Karl, thanks so much.